Hey, welcome to another episode of The Well of Possibilities. And today I want to talk with you about, or to you about the struggle to change. Man, people find it so hard. Personally, I love change. And but change is often challenging. I mean, you can't, it's not that you cannot like something when it's challenging. Challenges are sometimes great. They can be very motivating, they can be very inspiring, but of course they can be very hard. And even when you know it's necessary for your growth and your well-being to do things differently, to change habits, maybe environments, situations. It's important to understand why you struggle to change because it's not that weird, actually. I mean, you have to overcome barriers and make lasting improvements to your life by changing. Thing is, though, that we are taught in schools, through parents, through the situations and the containers we live in, through kind of conditions that are set in stone, um, that we kind of are kept small also. And it's important to explore these underlying reasons for this resistance to change because so many people, and you might be one of them, so maybe you resist change because you're afraid of something, because you don't know how to address, on who to count when things don't work out as you hope that they work out. So there's a lot going on here. So today I want to talk to you about the struggle to change. And yeah, who am I? My name is Margaret Sap. I'm the founder of a global education platform all about creativity, aliveness, empathy also, and happy living, but not in this superficial way. No, I'm going deep. And even though these trainings are pretty top line, there's a lot of perspective that I can bring to you. Um, Perception is key. And it's very important to understand that you, every time when you think something, and you can never predict your next thought, it's also weird actually, but every time you think something, you're coming from a certain view that has been laid upon you, right? So that's what I'd like to challenge with you through these trainings and actually teach you how to reflect on your own habits, your own thoughts, your own emotions. So today, how can you improve your willingness to change? And what this whole reason of struggling to change is actually, well, if you want to find out, if you recognize yourself in this, if you get it, and indeed you actually are a bit resistant to change, it's time to start identifying the fears of this resistance, the fears and the resistance, and to reflect on the fears and the resistances that hold you back. Um, yeah, it is of course logical, but it's not something we spend time in or we spend time with. Sometimes we think, oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh no, but that's it. And then it's kind of an opinion and it's already a fact because you don't want to do this. But sometimes it's good to write down your fear. What is it? What are you afraid of? Will you be feeling unsafe? Are you afraid that you'll be unhappy? Um, will you no longer have money if you take a risk? Or will you miss your family when you move abroad? All these kind of things. So examine the root causes. So first the fears, write them down, and then examine the root cause of these fears. So, and how plausible are they? How realistic are they actually? So once you become more aware of the fears that are actually causing this resistance to change, then you have, of course, tools basically to help you address these and help to address these directly. So it's important. And then another thing is that it's important to challenge your limiting beliefs. You may think that you will never learn how to speak Spanish if you would ever move to Mexico or to Spain or wherever other country. Because you say, okay, I'm not good, I can't, I can only speak English or I can only speak American. Well, that's a limiting belief. For sure, you can learn Spanish. I mean, if your life would depend on it, well, definitely you would speak Spanish very quickly. So to identify and challenge your own narratives, challenging your own beliefs that limit your ability to change is an important activity in this whole process. So how can you do this? Well, often your own blind spots you don't see, so you can ask friends, family, coaches like myself to say like, hey, what am I not seeing? And once somebody gives you an idea or opens this up to you, you can replace your limiting belief with more empowering ones. I mean, you can have examples of children that learned Spanish at a young age or when they were a teenager. There are plenty of people who speak 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 languages who also have been thinking before that they would only speak their mother tongue. So changing your belief systems is exciting. It's not scary. It may feel scary, but you will see that there's a lot of growth and inspiration coming from removing these mental barriers that are, yeah, actually stacked within to change. So, and then, yeah, realistic goals. So let's stick to the example of learning to speak Spanish. So let's say you say, oh, okay, I want to speak Spanish by, well, end of next month. Well, that's not very realistic. Although it is possible, actually, if you would move there straight away right now, you definitely would speak very well Spanish within a month. But let's say you say, okay, no, I'm going to stay where I am. This is an English-speaking environment. I want to speak Spanish by the end of this year. So you have like, what is it, 5 months more or less. So you can break down your desired change into small manageable steps. So you can say, okay, take this topic, do this topic, this topic. I mean, there are programs for this. You do some research, and then you create a timeline with specific, achievable, and measurable goals, milestones. And why a realistic goal? Because it's motivating, because it makes the process of change less overwhelming and more doable, more attainable. And that's, of course, fun. Make it fun. So, and then you can tell somebody also like, okay, I really want to learn to speak Spanish. I don't only want to, I'm actually starting to speak Spanish. So surround yourself with people who support you in your desires, in your dreams, who encourage your growth. And very often, in your direct surroundings, there may be only a few who respond very positive, and others are actually pretty like skeptical, or like, oh, why would you do that, or you never do that, or you can't because you're a more technical person. There are all kind of reasons and excuses why people will say to you that you can't make it, or that you will never do it, or because you never reach something, or you never achieve something. So there are a lot of negative voices rising up the moment you change or want to change. It's also part of the struggle to change, because a lot of people will try to hold you back. That's a whole other topic on to dive into it one day, actually. But nevertheless, sharing your goal or your dreams, your desire with somebody, or trusted somebody, a family member, or a support group is just a great idea, because a strong support system, of course, provides motivation and for sure also accountability. So yeah, and then things are not happening overnight, right? I mean, we sometimes hear this one overnight success. Well, that's very unlikely. I mean, everybody with a certain level of success has been practicing patience and persistence. And you might say something, oh, that's nothing for me. I don't have the persistence, but I think you actually do, because most people, when you have the age that you can listen to this kind of trainings, you definitely had your fair share of struggles, barriers to overcome, and you have cultivated some level of patience and persistence. And when you commit to consistent effort and understand why it will be useful, why it will be great, if you really hold that vision strong enough, you will work towards change little by little. Don't go too quick. It's even better sometimes to go together for a while, journeying together, and celebrate small victories in a group, also together, or with the person that you decide to start learning the language with, or the consultant, or the therapist, or the coach, or the family member. Learn from what you're doing, learn from your setbacks, but celebrate your small victories, because that is what's making it fun. That's also what you deserve at such a moment, because it's nice, and it's just, yeah, it's deserve is even not the right word. I mean, it's just fun to celebrate your wins. Like, hey, man, I did it. That's a cool thing. I'm talking a little bit better now. So keep sticking to the Spanish example, right? So persistence and patience, they make sure that your long-term success, your long-term goals will really become lasting changes. And one day, who knows? Because once you speak Spanish, you could also quickly learn Italian and French as well. So I mean, it's rippling out very quickly. And the same, of course, for Asian languages. I mean, once you step into change, once you learn something new, once you have adopted something, you also have worked your work ethic and your proven to yourself your ability that you definitely can cause change, create change that positively impacts your life. So yeah, overcoming the struggle to change involves identifying the fear, the resistance, challenging your limiting beliefs, set realistic goals, right? The small steps, have a support system in a group setting, ideally, so that you can see how others are approaching their things and that you are surrounded by people who actually encourage your growth, and practice patience and persistence. Be committed to your change, to your own growth. And with that, I can say that your struggle to change will become less. A lot is happening in your mind. Listen to your heart and go after what you really want. Enjoy, have a great week, and yeah, choose something. Where would you like to change? What area of your life? Is it your environment? Is it your situation? Is it your home? Is it your cultivating your talent in something, learning a language, do something, learning an instrument, moving abroad, moving to another state? What do you want to do? How do you want to change? Think about it. Grant yourself time and permission to really start daydreaming a bit more. Bye. Have a good week. See you next week.